I died, choking on my own blood, the taste of copper flooding my mouth as the elevator cables snapped, and I plummeted 37 floors in the glass coffin of Apex Financial's executive tower. Betrayed by the man I trusted most, my mentor, my lover, Jake Harlan, who'd whispered sweet nothings about our future while rigging the sabotage that sealed my fate. And in that final, spinning second of freefall, as the city lights blurred into a mocking kaleidoscope, I realized this wasn't an accident. It was murder, dressed up as corporate negligence. But death isn't the end when you've got unfinished business. I woke up gasping, not in some ethereal void, but in the stale air of my old Brooklyn apartment. The alarm clock blaring 6:45 a.m. on a Tuesday in June 2023. My hands, younger, unscarred, clutched the sheets, and I bolted upright, staring at the mirror across the room. There I was, Harmony Reyes, 28, wide-eyed and turned fresh out of Wharton. Not the 42-year-old VP who'd just been erased. The date on my phone confirmed it. I'd been hurled back 5 years, right to the week I signed on with Apex. A second chance. Not for redemption, for revenge. Heart pounding like a war drum, I scrolled through my emails, the familiar dread twisting in my gut. There it was, Jake's first welcome aboard message. All charm and promise. God, he was good. Charismatic, with that Ivy League polish and a smile that could disarm a boardroom full of sharks. We'd met at a networking mixer in Manhattan, me, the ambitious Latina kid from Queens clawing her way up, him, the golden boy VP of operations. 15 years my senior, already whispered about as the next CEO. He saw potential in me, or so he said. Took me under his wing, mentored me through promotions, shared late-night whiskeys in his corner office overlooking the Hudson. And when the lines blurred into something more intimate, I thought it was love. Turns out, it was leverage. I didn't waste time on tears. I dressed in my power armor, a crisp white blouse, black pencil skirt, heels that clicked like gunfire on the subway platform, and headed into the city. Apex Financial loomed like a monolith of steel and glass in Midtown, its lobby a cathedral of marble and false promises. Security buzzed me through with my keycard, the same one that would later log my suicide in the system. Suicidal? Me? The official story after my accident was that I'd been depressed, overworked, ready to jump. But Jake knew better. He'd planted the seeds, forged emails suggesting embezzlement, whispers to HR about my instability, all to cover his own tracks in a multi-million-dollar fraud scheme he'd been running, siphoning client funds into offshore accounts. I'd discovered it too late, confronted him, and instead of confessing, he'd silenced me. Permanently. The elevator ride up to the 35th floor was torture, every ding a reminder of my descent to hell. But this time, I wasn't the wide-eyed newbie. I was a ghost with a grudge, armed with 5 years of foreknowledge. My desk waited in the open-plan bullpen, surrounded by the same drones I'd once called colleagues. Sarah from accounting, with her fake laughs and sharper knives, Tom the IT guy, who owed me a favor from a drunken karaoke night, and Elena, my supposed best friend, who'd testify against me in the internal investigation. I logged in, fingers flying, and started digging. Not recklessly, no. This revenge would be surgical. First, I needed proof. The kind that couldn't be deleted. By noon, I was in the cafeteria, tray in hand, scanning for him.
Jake.
there he was, holding court at a corner table with the senior execs, his laugh booming like thunder. Our eyes met across the room, and for a split second, his charm faltered, just a flicker of surprise at seeing me, the intern he'd handpicked. I forced a smile, the one that said eager to please, and approached. Mr. Harmony Reyes. Reporting for duty. He stood, all 6'2" of tailored perfection, extending a hand that swallowed mine. Harmony, right on time. Welcome to the family. His grip lingered a beat too long, that familiar spark igniting. I swallowed bile, remembering how those hands had steadied me during our first strategy session that turned into something else. Grab a seat. Tell me, what brings a Wharton star like you to Apex? I sat, launching into the rehearsed spiel, ambition, innovation, the American dream wrapped in buzzwords. But underneath, my mind raced. I knew his playbook. In 3 months, he'd pull me into his inner circle, feed me just enough rope to hang myself with. Then, the promotion to analyst, access to the restricted servers. That's where the fraud lived, dummy accounts masked as charitable donations, funds rerouted to shell companies in the Caymans. I'd uncovered it in my first life by accident, tracing a client's missing pension. This time, I'd lead him to believe I was blind to it, all while building my own dossier. The day blurred into meetings and memos, but I carved out time in the server room during lunch. Tom's favor came easy, a 6-pack of craft IPA waved under his nose, and he slipped me a backdoor USB. Don't tell anyone. Harm. This is against policy. Policy. The word tasted like ash. By evening, I had copies of the access logs, timestamps that would later tie Jake to the deletions. I tucked the drive into my bra, a petty thrill of defiance, and headed home. That night, in my cramped apartment with the leaky faucet and the view of a brick wall, I plotted. Revenge wasn't a sprint, it was a marathon of mind games. Step 1, isolate him. Make him trust me again. Deeper this time. Step 2, expose the cracks in his empire. The hidden secret wasn't just the fraud, it was personal. Jake had a daughter, Mia, hidden away in Connecticut, a product of a first marriage he never mentioned. Estranged, bitter, ripe for manipulation. I'd find her, turn her into an ally. Controversial? Hell yes. But betrayal like his didn't deserve clean hands. Sleep came fitful, haunted by echoes of the fall. The wind howling, the glass cracking on impact. No. Harmony. You're alive. And he's going to pay. Weeks turned into a meticulously orchestrated dance. I excelled at work, earning Jake's praise in weekly one-on-ones. You're a natural, he'd say, eyes lingering on the curve of my neck. I played the part, flirty glances, late-night texts about work stress, drawing him in like a moth to flame. By month 2, I was in his orbit, invited to the after-hours scotch tastings where deals were sealed and secrets spilled. That's when I met the real players. Victor Lang, the CFO, a silver-haired bulldog with a reputation for sniffing out bullshit, Lydia Voss, HR queen bee who buried scandals like bodies, and Elena, my mentor, whose smile hid the fact she'd slept her way to junior partner. Elena became my first test. In my past life, she'd been my confidant, the one I vented to about Jake's intensity. She'd nodded sympathetically, then leaked every word to him. This time, I fed her half-truths, Doubts about Jake's handsy vibes. Nothing concrete. Just enough to plant seeds of discord. He's intense, right? Like, mentor or more. Her eyes lit up, gossip fuel. By week's end, Jake cornered me in the copy room. Heard you've been chatting with Elena. Everything okay? I widened my eyes. All innocence. Just girl talk. She's great.
Lie.
But it worked, he pulled back. Just a fraction. Paranoia flickering.
Good.
Let the cracks form. Meanwhile, the fraud simmered. I monitored the accounts via Tom's backdoor, watching Jake's digital fingerprints multiply. A $2 million transfer to Global Aid Initiative, his shell. I screenshot everything, timestamped, encrypted on a cloud only I could access. But revenge needed teeth. Enter Mia Harlan. A quick LinkedIn dive led to her profile. 22. Barista in New Haven. Art major dropout with a grudge against Daddy Dearest. I drove up on a rainy Saturday, posing as a concerned colleague with a fabricated story about Jake's regret. She was wary, tattoos snaking up her arms, piercings glinting under cafe lights. He sent you? After ghosting me for years? Not exactly, I admitted, sliding her a coffee. But I know things. Things that could change everything. I dangled the bait. Proof of his neglect, tied to the money he'd stolen, funds that could have supported her. Her eyes hardened. What do you want? Alliance, I said. Against him. She laughed.
Bitter.
Count me in. Harmony. But make it hurt. Back in the city, tension coiled like a spring. Jake ramped up the intimacy, inviting me to his penthouse for strategy sessions. I went, steeling myself, letting his hands wander just enough to sell the illusion. But when he poured the scotch, I spiked his with a mild sedative from an online pharmacy, nothing lethal, just enough to loosen tongues. As he dozed on the couch, I rifled his safe, documents, passcodes, a photo of Mia he kept hidden. Jackpot. The first controversial decision hit like a freight train. To access the full fraud trail, I needed level 3 clearance. Jake's, specifically. Stealing it meant planting malware on his phone during one of our dates. Risky, IT would flag it eventually. But without it, my evidence was circumstantial. I did it in his kitchen. Over dessert, my heart hammering as the app installed silently. You're tense tonight, he murmured, pulling me close. Let me help. I faked a moan, hating every second, but the deed was done. That night, alone, I wept, not for him, but for the woman I'd been, the trust I'd squandered again. Was this revenge or self-destruction? No time for doubt. The board meeting loomed, where Jake would pitch the expansion fund, code for more laundering. I'd be there, invisible, gathering the final pieces. As summer heat baked the streets, Apex buzzed with merger rumors. Victor Lang, the CFO, started auditing departments, his hawk eyes missing nothing. I volunteered for the ops team review, positioning myself as the helpful intern. Anything I can do, Mr. Lang. He grunted approval, oblivious to the storm brewing.
Jake,
sensing the shift,
grew clingier.
We need to talk, he texted one evening. Meet at the tower rooftop bar, neutral ground, or so he thought. I arrived in a red dress, bold as blood, the USB burning in my clutch. The city sprawled below, indifferent. What's this about? I asked, sipping gin to steady nerves. Us, he said, voice low. I see potential.
Harmony.
More than in turn. Stick with me, and you'll go far. His hand on my arm, possessive, familiar. Rage boiled, but I smiled. I'd like that. He leaned in, breath hot.
Good.
Because I've got big plans. But trust is key. Irony. Thy name is Jake. As we parted, I slipped an anonymous tip to Victor's inbox. Check Harlan's expansions. Follow the donations. No signature. Just a breadcrumb. Let the dogs loose. Little did I know, the first domino had already fallen. The tip landed like a grenade in Victor Lang's world. By Monday, the CFO's office was a war zone of spreadsheets and subpoenas, his team combing through ops finances with forensic zeal. Jake strutted through it unfazed, blaming vendor errors in all-hands emails, his charm deflecting suspicion like Teflon. But I saw the sweat on his brow during our coffee run, the way his eyes darted to the C-suite elevators. Rough week, I said lightly, stirring sugar into my latte. You have no idea, he replied, forcing a grin. But we'll weather it. Always do.
We.
As if I was part of his fortress now. If only he knew I was the termite gnawing from within. Elena cornered me in the ladies' room that afternoon, her perfume cloying as her curiosity. Heard Lang's on a witch hunt. You close to Jake, anything I should know? Her reflection in the mirror was all Botox and ambition. A far cry from the friend who'd hugged me after my promotion in the old timeline. I hesitated, the controversial fork in the road staring me down. Lie low, or push the wedge.
It's
weird. Jake's been distant. Like he's hiding something, half-truth, laced with venom. She pounced. Distant?
spill.
Girl. By evening, the rumor mill churned. Jake Harlan. Untouchable. Cracking under pressure. That night, Mia texted from the burner phone I'd given her. Found more dirt. Dad's got a safety deposit box in Jersey. Photos inside, my pulse raced. In my first life, I'd never known about Mia, let alone leveraged her. This was the gray area, dragging an innocent into the fray. But was she innocent? Her messages dripped resentment. He ruined Mom. Now it's my turn. I replied, meet me tomorrow. Bring everything. The handover happened in a dingy Newark storage unit, rain lashing the windows like accusations. Mia arrived soaked, a manila envelope clutched to her chest. Bank statements from years ago. He funneled child support through fake charities. Even after Mom died. Her voice cracked, eyes hollow. I flipped through irrefutable, linking early fraud to personal betrayal. This could bury him, I said softly. It will, she whispered. But what about you? Why risk this for a stranger? I met her gaze. Because he took everything from me once. Won't happen again. No details, she didn't need them. We sealed the pact with a nod. Two women forged in the same fire. Back at Apex, the heat intensified. Victor called an emergency audit meeting. Jake at the helm defending his flawless records. I sat in the back, notebook open, jotting nonsense while my phone vibrated with alerts from the malware, Jake deleting files in real time.
Gotcha.
I forwarded screenshots to an anonymous offshore email, then to Mia for safekeeping. Redundancy was key. Jake was a deleter. After all, the real spark ignited midweek. Lydia Voss, HR's iron fist summoned me for a chat. Her office was a sterile box of confidentiality agreements and motivational posters. Harmony, as a junior member, you're in a unique position. Any observations about Mr. Harlan's leadership style? Her pen hovered, ready to indict. This was it, the decision that could torch innocence. Accuse too much, and the whole ops team suffers layoffs. Too little, and Jake slips away. I chose the knife's edge. He's brilliant, but intense. Late nights, high pressure. I've seen him snap at vendors. Nothing major.
But the audits.
They're stressing everyone. Vague enough to sting. Pointed enough to echo. Lydia's eyes narrowed. Noted. And personally, any boundaries crossed. My stomach twisted. In the old life, I denied everything, protecting him.
Now?
A few drinks after hours. Professional, I think. But it's blurring.
Boom.
The floodgates cracked. By Friday, whispers of an HR probe swirled, Jake's invites drying up like desert sand. He confronted me in the parking garage, rain-slicked and furious, blocking my Prius with his Audi. What the hell did you tell Voss? His face was a mask of rage. The charmer gone feral. I stepped out, umbrella forgotten, letting the downpour soak me. Nothing. Just being honest.
Lie.
But the fear in his eyes? Priceless. Honest. He advanced. Voice a hiss. After everything I'd done for you, the mentorship, the opportunities. Opportunities, I echoed. Voice steady despite the thunder in my chest. Like what? Jake? Teaching me how to cover tracks. He froze, then laughed cold, disbelieving. What do you know? Enough. The word hung. Electric. For a moment, I saw it, the panic, the calculation. Would he push me now? 5 years early? End it before it began? But no, he retreated, slamming his door. Watch yourself.
Harmony.
Loyalty matters here. As he peeled out, tires screeching, I exhaled. Phase 1 complete. Isolation. But the cost gnawed. Elena texted. Heard you're in hot water. Stay away from me. Paranoia spreading. As planned. Yet sleep evaded me. Nightmares blending past and present. The elevator's plummet morphing into Jake's glare. Saturday brought escalation. Mia and I met at a midtown diner. Her envelope now digitized on my laptop. Next step, she asked, picking at fries. Victor Lang. I leaned in. He's clean, but overworked. If we feed him this, I tap the screen piecemeal. He'll connect dots without us exposed. She nodded, but doubt flickered. And if it backfires? Dad's connected. He could ruin us. He already did, I muttered. Controversial again, using corporate channels meant potential collateral. Analysts like Sarah, who'd lose jobs in the fallout. But Jake's empire was built on their backs. Let it crumble. Monday dawned blood red, the skyline bleeding through my blinds. Apex thrummed with tension. Coffee-fueled zombies shuffling reports. Victor's team expanded the probe, pulling server logs. Tom's text lit my screen. Shit.
Harm.
They're on to deletions. Blame's flying. I replied, cover your ass. I owe you. In the bullpen, Jake avoided me, his desk a fortress of piled files. but during lunch, he cornered Elena instead, overheard from the vending machine. She's trouble. Plant something on her. My blood ran cold. History repeating, but accelerated. I acted fast. Slipped into his office during a fire drill, heart slamming, and planted a USB, fake evidence of my embezzlement, dated future. No. Reverse it. Make it look like he'd framed me early. Subtle gaslighting. As alarms wailed, I exited, blending with the evac crowd. The twist came unbidden. Victor summoned Jake that afternoon, voices raised behind glass walls. I lingered nearby, ear to the door. Harlan, these transfers. Explain. Victor's growl.
Error, sir.
I'll fix it. Jake's silk over steel. You'd better. Or heads roll. By close of business, Jake was unraveling. He emailed the team, streamlined deletions for compliance. No exceptions. The subject line, clean slate initiative. Ironic. I forwarded it to Victor anonymously. With context, he told me to delete everything. That night, alone with takeout and terror, I paced. The revenge tasted bitter now, laced with what-ifs. What if Victor turned on me? What if Jake struck first? Mia called, voice shaky. I hacked his personal email, God. Harmony. It's worse. He's got ties to organized money laundering. Mob shit. My world tilted. Not just fraud, crime. The secret buried deeper. Roots in shadows I'd never touched before. Controversial didn't cover it. This was playing with fire that could burn the city. Send it, I said. All of it, as files downloaded. A knock echoed. Through the peephole, Jake. Disheveled. Bottle in hand. We need to talk. For real. I opened the door a crack. Chain on. About
Us.
and the mess. His eyes pleaded, vulnerable, almost human. Against every instinct, I let him in. Revenge or reckoning. The line blurred as he stepped over the threshold, the past crashing into now. Jake slumped onto my thrift store couch. The bottle, top-shelf bourbon, thunking on the coffee table like a truce flag. Rain pattered against the window, a moody underscore to his confession. It's falling apart.
Harm.
Lang's circling.
And I
need someone I can trust. His voice cracked, the exec facade fracturing. In my first life, this vulnerability had hooked me, made me believe in redemption.
Now.
It was bait. I sat across from him, knees tucked under, playing the concerned ingenue. What happened? The audits. He poured 2 glasses, sliding one over. I pretended to sip, watching him down his in gulps. More than that. Old skeletons. Deals from my early days, shady clients. Off-book stuff. If it surfaces. He trailed off, rubbing temples. The sedative from weeks ago paled. This was raw unraveling. Tell me, I urged, leaning forward. Knowledge was power, and I craved every crumb.
He met my eyes.
Searching. You remind me of her. You know. Mia's mom. Fierce. Loyal. I lost that when I chose the job.
Ah.
The Mia card, personal. Probing. Testing loyalty. I feigned empathy. A single tear for effect. Family's everything. Why not reach out? Too late. Bitter laugh. And now, with this probe. Someone's leaking. I think it's Elena. Bingo. The wedge I'd driven. She seemed solid. Snakes everywhere. He refilled, gaze lingering. But you're different. Stay close.
Harm.
We can fix this together. The invitation hung, double-edged. Deeper access. Or deeper entanglement. I nodded, sealing it. Together. He left at midnight. A sloppy kiss on my cheek. Promises of big things slurring into the hall. I bolted the door, then dove into the files Mia had sent. Mob ties?
Christ.
Encrypted emails to Vito R. Loan shark lingo. Apex as unwitting laundromat. Jake wasn't just crooked, he was entangled in something primal. The kind that ended in trunks and rivers. My revenge had unearthed a hydra. Tuesday brought the storm. Victor's team raided ops servers at dawn, badges flashing like badges of doom. Jake arrived late. Ty askew, barking orders to cooperate fully. I played bystander, shredding nothing, my fake USB still planted. By noon, whispers peaked, suspensions pending. Elena cracked first. In the break room, she cornered me, mascara streaked. This is your fault. You poisoned him against me. Me? I blinked. Innocent. I just answered questions. Liar. She lunged, nails grazing my arm before security peeled her off. HR escorted her out, non-disclosure in hand. One down. Jake pulled me into his office post-chaos. Door locked. Jesus. That was brutal. Voss is gunning for blood. He paced. A caged tiger. I need you to do something for me. My gut clenched. Here it came, the ask that would damn me in the old timeline. Delete some files. Old emails. Nothing incriminating. Just clean up. His eyes pleaded. The same ones that had begged me to trust before the fall. The words echoed my title. A cosmic joke. He told me to delete everything. In the past, I had blind loyalty, covering what I thought were minor slips. It backfired. Logs tracing to me. This time, Jake. That's risky. Audits are live. I know. But you're smart. Use Tom's backdoor, he owes me. Manipulation. Layering favors. Controversial crossroads. Comply. And I'm complicit. Refuse. And he suspects.
Okay.
For you. I took the list. Heart leaden. But as I exited, I forwarded it to Victor. Harlan's cleanup crew starts here. The deletion session happened in the server room after hours. Fluorescent hum, the only witness. I mirrored every keystroke to my hidden drive, then executed partial wipes, enough to satisfy Jake. Not enough to erase trails. Tom hovered. Nervous. This is bad.
Harm.
Really bad. Cover story system glitch, I whispered. He nodded, vanishing into the dark. By morning, the company fractured. Emails flew, ops lockdown, external auditors inbound. Jake texted, "You saved me." Dinner tonight? I replied, "Absolutely." But Victor intercepted. His summons came via Lydia, Miss Reyes, CFO's office. Now, the walk felt like the plank, heels echoing judgment. Victor's domain was all leather and ledgers, a den of fiscal lions. He sat behind a desk piled with printouts, glasses perched, exuding that old-school gravitas.
Sit.
This won't take long. I perched. Palm stamp. Sir, you're aware of the irregularities in ops. Straight to jugular. Only rumors. Lie smooth as silk. He slid a folder across. Screenshots, my deletions. Timestamped. These are yours. Care to explain?
Panic spiked.
But I breathed. The fake USBs work. Mr. Harlan asked me to tidy archives. Compliance prep, he said. Feigned confusion. Eyes wide. Victor's jaw tightened. And you didn't question? He's my boss.
Sir. I.
Trusted. The word weaponized. Twisting the knife. He leaned back. Steepling fingers. Trust is earned.
S.
Reyes. But this, he tapped another page. Jake's email to me. Suggests more. He told you to delete everything. I nodded. Throat tight.
Yes.
But I didn't. Not all.
A beat.
Then, miracle. Good. Because I heard it from you. Indirectly. And everything's about to change. He revealed his hand. The anonymous tips. The mob threads Mia's hack uncovered. We've got a whistleblower. Brave soul.
Me?
Through proxies. Relief flooded. Chased by dread. Change meant exposure for all. Stay clean, he warned. Testify if it comes. Apex needs people like you. Dismissed. I floated back to my desk, the weight lifting fractionally. Jake's dinner invite loomed, but now as opportunity. I met Mia at our diner, updating her. Victor's in. But Jake's cornered, dangerous. She stirred her tea.
Fierce.
Then end it. Confront him. Not yet. Need the kill shot. The controversial loomed larger. To fully dismantle, I'd expose the mob link. Inviting feds. Innocents, clients, low-level staff would drown in the wake. Morally bankrupt? Perhaps. But Jake's betrayal had hollowed me. Ethics were luxury. Dinner was at his penthouse. City lights a glittering accomplice. He cooked steak. Rare. Like my rage. Over wine. He probed. Lang grilled you?
Yeah.
Scary. I twirled pasta. Casual. What did you say?
Truth.
About the deletions. Half.
Anyway.
His fork paused. You what? Relax. I covered. Said it was routine. Lie within lie. Relief washed his face.
God.
You're a lifesaver. Then. The pivot. Marry this life.
Harm.
With me. You're untouchable. Proposal or trap. In the old timeline. Similar words preceded the frame job. I smiled. Clinking glasses. Tempting. As he dozed post-meal, I accessed his laptop, passcode from the safe. Final downloads, full ledgers, veto emails. Jackpot. But karma bit. As I unplugged, his phone buzzed. Harlan, clean it up or you're done.
V.
Mob pressure. He stirred, eyes bleary. Harm, what are you? Panic. I bolted for the door, but he grabbed my wrist. Stop. Who's feeding Lang? You? Struggle brief. Brutal. I twisted free. Knee to groin. Old self-defense classes paying off. It's over. Jake. He crumpled.
gasping. Bitch.
You'll regret. I slammed the door. Elevator plummeting. Not to death, but escape. Heart racing. I texted Victor, everything.
Now.
The climax brewed overnight. Feds swarmed Apex at dawn. Black SUVs clogging Midtown. Jake arrested in the lobby. Cuffs glinting under chandeliers. This is a mistake, he roared, spotting me in the crowd. Our eyes locked, his wild betrayal, mine cold triumph. Victor pulled me aside amid chaos. You did good, Reyes. Whistleblower confirmed. Promotion whispers followed. But hollowness lingered. Elena? Fired. Blackballed. Lydia? Resigned in disgrace. Sarah and Tom? Collateral. Pink-slipped. The cost tallied in my mind as headlines blared. Apex scandal rocks Wall Street. Mia called that night. Elated. We did it. He's done. But as I stared at the skyline, the twist gnawed. Change for the company?
Yes.
For me, a promotion to VP. Ironies abound. Yet Jake's final glare echoed, unfinished. The fallout from Jake's arrest hit like a Category 5 through Wall Street. Headlines screaming, Apex XX empire of lies crumbles from the Post to the Journal. FBI vans cordoned off the tower for days. Agents in windbreakers hauling boxes of servers while shell-shocked traders nursed hangovers in dive bars. Apex stock tanked 40% overnight. Client defections piling up like unpaid invoices. Victor Lang, the unlikely hero, stepped in as interim CEO. His bulldog growl, now the voice of salvation in pressers. Transparency is our new cornerstone, he'd bark, dodging questions about the internal whistleblower.
Me?
I played the part of the shocked survivor, fielding hugs from colleagues who'd once eyed me as Jake's pet project. Sarah, the accountant, cornered me in the temp bullpen, ops gutted. Us survivors crammed into conference rooms.
Heard you tipped Lang.
Brave.
Harm.
But damn. The layoffs. Her voice trailed, eyes red from packing boxes. Guilt twisted like barbed wire. Controversial didn't begin to cover it. My scalpel had carved deep, nicking arteries I hadn't meant to. Promotions came swift, me to senior analyst. Tom's quiet nod to IT lead elsewhere. Mia vanished to California. A wire transfer from Apex's settlement fund her apology for years of neglect. She texted once, thanks for the rebirth. Yours too? I didn't reply. My own second chance felt tainted, victory hollow as the echo in my old apartment. Weeks blurred into damage control. Victor summoned me often. His office, now command central with white barred scrawled in marker hieroglyphs. Reyes, your insights saved us from total collapse. That deletion list? Gold. He'd clap my shoulder. Paternal, oblivious to the ghost I carried. In briefings, I'd nod, contribute, all while scanning for shadows, Jake's mob ghosts. Perhaps circling for payback. The trial prep unearthed more rot. Prosecutors subpoenaed me early. A sterile courthouse room in Lower Manhattan where ADAs with clipboards grilled details. MS. Reyes, you deleted files at Mr. Harlan's behest. Why not report immediately? I met their stares. Voice steady.
Fear.
He was powerful. Intimidating. Partial truth, the rest buried with my death. They bought it, painting me as the reluctant hero. Jake's defense? Smear campaign. Leaks to tabloids. Intern's affair with execs sparks scandal. Photos surfaced, us at that rooftop bar. My red dress damning. Elena, from her unemployment purgatory, sold stories. She was obsessed. Climbed the ladder on her back. Public backlash stung. Online trolls dissected my heritage. Diversity higher gone rogue, while feminist blogs hailed me as Me Too Avenger. Controversy swirled. Cable news panels debating. Was it justice or jealousy? I avoided mirrors. The woman staring back, a mosaic of fractures. The real twist slithered in during a late-night deposition review. Victor called me to his hotel suite, temporary HQ, while the tower was sanitized. Bourbon flowed. War stories exchanged. Harlan was rotten from the core, he grumbled. Ice clinking. But you saw through it. Second sight, I quipped. The bourbon loosening my guard. He chuckled, then sobered. About that whistleblower handle, Phoenix Rising.
Cute.
Reminds me of something Harlan muttered once. Post-arrest. She came back. Chills spidered my spine. Delusional ramblings? Perhaps. But his eyes probed. Or intuition. You were close to him.
Harmony.
Closer than most. The room tilted. Had I slipped? A timestamp off. A phrase, too on the nose? Victor leaned in. Voice low. If there's more, off record. Now's the time. Panic clawed. Confess the rebirth? Madness. But the controversial apex. Trust him. Or run.
He
tried to pull me down with him. Framed me once. In a way. I couldn't let it happen again. Again?
Echo.
Figuratively. Deflection.
Weak.
He nodded slowly, pouring another. Loyalty's a double-edged sword. Just remember, Apex rebuilds with clean hands. I left at dawn. Streets slick with autumn rain. Wait. Autumn? Time had warped in the frenzy. My rebirth date loomed in memory.
But now.
Scars from the revenge etched deeper. Jake's trial date circled like a vulture. The climax erupted in federal court, a circus of suits and stenographers. Jake took the stand, shackled subtly, his charm weaponized. Harmony was my protégé, brilliant, but ambitious. She fabricated to climb over my body. His eyes found me in the gallery. Venomous. She knew everything. Participated. Gasps rippled. My lawyer objected, but the seed planted. Cross-exam shredded him, ledgers, emails, Mia's testimony via video. Her voice steady. He abandoned us for greed. Mob ties sealed it. Vito Rinaldi. Pinched in a separate bust. Flipped on Jake for leniency. Verdict. Guilty. 20 to life. As marshals led him away, he twisted for one last glare. This isn't over. Harmony. You'll fall with me. Court adjourned to cheers. But I slipped out. Nausea rising. Victor waited in the hall. Arm extended. Dinner? To celebrate. The penthouse, Jake's old haunt. Now corporate crash pad. Over steak. He toasted. To new beginnings.
Then.
The offer. CFO's opening up. Postling retirement. You in. Promotion to the top? The dream I'd chased. Now poison chalice. Why me? You rebuilt us. From ashes. Phoenix again. His smile didn't reach eyes. I accepted. The decision a razor cut.
Power.
Yes, but tainted. Nights blurred into boardroom battles. Apex clawing back market share. Elena sued for defamation. Settled quietly. Sarah landed at a rival firm. Our texts cordial but cool. Tom, ghosted. The favors wait unspoken. The final twist struck on a crisp December eve, 5 years post-rebirth to the day. My office now overlooked the Hudson. City lights winking conspiracy. A package arrived, anonymous. No return. Inside, a USB, labeled everything. Heart hammering. I plugged it in. Files bloomed, not Jake's, but Victor's. Hidden ledgers. His own siphons, smaller scale.
But damning.
A note. Typed. You deleted mine. I kept yours. Balance restored.
Ziyech.
Impossible. From prison? No, accomplice. Victor. The mentor who'd heard it, the one who'd promoted me. The betrayal layered. Deeper than Jake's. He'd used my tips to climb, covering his tracks while dangling the CFO bait. The recordings, the second sight probes, tests,
All.
rage ignited, but wisdom tempered. Controversial endgame, expose him, and Apex implodes again. My career with it.
Or.
Play the long game.
Delete? No.
I forwarded to the feds. Anonymous once more. Then,
Poured scotch.
toasting the void. Victor resigned for health, scandal hushed with NDAs. I stepped into CFO, the tower's new queen. Happy ending? For the company. Yes, restructured. Thriving. For me, a throne of thorns, ghosts whispering from elevators. As snow dusted the skyline, I stood at the window.
Alive.
Betrayed twice. Reborn once. Revenge tasted of ash. But power? That burned clean. Jake rotted in Supermax. Victor faded to Florida obscurity. Mia thrived. Her art gallery opening invite on my desk.
And me?
Harmony Reyes. Phoenix eternal. The fall never came again. But in quiet moments, I wondered, was it justice? Or just another cycle? The city didn't answer, humming its indifferent song.